So I was watching Roland Martin today, and he was speaking about um, it was a couple mothers apparently that were criticizing Tamika Mallory and others, assumed to be with the Black Lives Matter movement, and the critique was coming from the place of there are some monetary issues with regard to people collecting money that the families aren't seeing. And so my immediate thought was, you know, in listening to it, it wasn't something that I was all too surprised about because we have a history of doing this. We have a history of allowing petty things to be excuses to tear down people that are standing up for us. And my first thought was, who are these people that are criticizing, Tamika Mallory specifically? I don't, I don't know why we do this, but we offer instant credibility to mothers and human beings that have children that have lost someone. And although I do not know what it's like to lose a child to police violence or anything, I don't know what it's like to lose a child, period. However, one thing I do know is that there is a such thing as trash human beings. And I think that we give these mothers way too much credit without really vetting them. Um, these people are coming out and they're criticizing people who are standing up, but where were they? You know, like I take issue to that, and let's be real. In the black community, we are very aware. Either us or someone we know has either known someone or was a person that was a victim of this or was doing this themselves, where they used their children's social security number to get credit for things that they wanted and or needed. And so when the child gets older and tries to establish themselves, well, they're already in a bad shape because someone who is considered a guardian had used their social security to get things in their names. And so let's not act like just because everyone who procreates is a parent. Like, it's one thing to create a life, but it's a whole nother thing to be a parent, and not everyone who procreates is a parent. And so my first question is, who are these people? What kind of situation are they in? What kind of parents were they? How did they, how were they as human beings, or how are they as human beings? So, that would be my first question. And then secondly, how do they figure that these people will be able to keep standing up for these type of situations if they're not paid in some way, shape, or form? There's not a 401k for this. It's not, there's not a retirement plan, and um, there's no backup for these people. Like, we've seen this time and time again, and I don't understand why we're so quick, black people, so quick to criticize one another, especially people who are standing up for us. Like, we did it with Malcolm, we did it with Martin, we did it with, W.E.B. Du Bois. We've done it with all of the leaders. We did it with Elijah Muhammad. We've done it with Farrakhan. We've done it with all these different people who have stood up for us. So, and then what do we expect? What is the expectation? And we're all too quick to criticize each other, you know? And then it's funny, like, I see this in so many, in a lot of different areas where we're just overly critical of each other, but then, anyone else do something to us, we're quick to forgive them, you know? And I feel like, I feel like I know we have to stop this type of behavior, just looking for reasons to discredit each other, and stop allowing others, specifically the U.S. government, to use us against each other as weapons against each other. We all just saw Judas and the Black Messiah. I hope you did. And it talked about, and the story was just all about how the feds used a hustler, a guy that was facing some time, and used him to infiltrate the Black Panthers. And this isn't something that's new. That's not something that um, is a rarity in our history. That's something that has been used time and time again. Anytime that there's someone that stands up for the people against an establishment in this country and other countries as well, there's always someone that they use. One of the people. One of the people in whom the movement is fighting for. They use those people to infiltrate and to help destroy that movement. What we have to understand here in this country is that when it really comes down to it, this country is not for the people. It's just not. And we talk a good game about, free speech and all this other kind of stuff, but there's no such thing as free speech. Everything that you say has a price, right? And in our history, we've had people that have said things that were very, very true, that were demonized because it was in critique of the U.S. government, especially as it pertained to people of color, whether they be black, brown, Asian, whatever. Anytime someone spoke up for those people, there was a problem. Specifically and altogether, poor people in general, whether you be white, black, or whatever. When it came to speaking for poor people, this country has been adamant about creating a divide, and been very, very successful at creating a divide against those type of movements, right? They'll focus on, if someone says anything, they'll be overly critical of what that speaker is saying, and then use that to create a divide. A lot of times, they'll use name calling. They'll try to put some type of label on you, like either you're anti-Semitic or you're homophobic, or there's some type of thing that they try to create you where they try to demonize your character to delegitimize you, right? To discredit you in front of the people. And one of the things we have to understand is nobody's perfect, right? A person can be, flawed, and at the same time, they can still have your best interest at heart, right? And so we have this bad thing where we conflate people's personal issues with how they stand up for us. And so we're all too quick to demonize people that stand up for us. And a lot of these people are just zealots. A lot of the people that are used as weapons against these movements are zealots. And so my thing is to bring it back is who are these people? Granted that they are parents or human beings that have procreated and lost someone in whom they had a hand in bringing to this world, but who are they as people, right? And then to the people that are out here giving Tamika Mallory death threats, right? I don't know whether you're just trolls or, government agents or what, but let's be clear. If you have that type of energy for a woman who's out here standing up against people that are persecuting you, and if that's the type of energy that you have, why don't you have that same energy for the people that she's fighting for you against. You know what I mean? Like, how about you have that energy for them? So she doesn't have to be out here in the forefront. How about you stand up? I don't know, man. We got a lot of work to do, man. We got a lot of work to do. Grow up, man. Because, and I really feel like people who act like that, it's just a waste of oxygen. You shouldn't even be here. You in the way. You in the way, man. So, like I said, I have no problem holding people accountable. But learn to be objective and stop jumping on everything without any type of thinking behind it. Like, understand who you're talking about and who you out here jumping out the window for. These people, vet these people. Compare Tamika Mallory's track record to the people who are complaining about her. And let's see who stands up. Come on, man. Like, stop falling for this shit.